we're live.
Welcome to the dtalks podcast. Yeah. Welcome to the dtalks pod where we don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, welcome to the dtalks podcast. Yeah.
Well, we're here. We're doing the thing. Don't know what that was about. Let me know in the comments or in the live chat if you guys heard a little stuttering there in the theme song. It usually doesn't happen, but I'm hearing some weird stuff, and my soundboard has been acting up. But I'm gonna have to get that looked at this week. But what's going on, D-bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the dtalks podcast. I'm your host, as always, Darren, Rita. Feel free to connect with me at any of the links down below. And if you're new here and you enjoy music, podcasts, comedy, or hooping videos, do consider subscribing because we got a whole lot of that going on around here. And when you do leave a like, comment, or subscribe, it helps us share videos and conversations like this one with more people. So do consider doing that if you're interested. Now, before I can get into the show today, which we've got a great, fantastic show for you guys today, and a phenomenal guest, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why are you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, is specialized for literal years, people, years, in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest and touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So, what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 262-448-4141. The website is kenoshains.com. It's on the screen right now. It's linked down below. Give them a call. Tell them Rita dtalks sent you. The worst that could happen is you will get the best rates. Now, with all that stuff out of the way, I'm pumped to get into the show this week. As I said, we've got a lot of stuff to get into, including a lot of your guys' opinions on the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation, which I'm really excited to get to later in the episode. But before we do that, I got to introduce a special guest this week. Making his return. It's been over 100 weeks since he was on last time. He was on like episode 37 or something like that. So let's give a wet dtalks welcome to my man, Michael Sherman.
What's up, Darren?
How are you, man? I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. I am excited to, be doing this podcast another week. 143 weeks, man. We're here.
Damn,
we're doing it.
143.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a number.
I think that's more wins. I think Green Bay has more wins against the Bears than
143.
If I remember right. So you gotta get that number up.
Well, we will. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
I think it's like 190 something. So
190.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I figured it'd be more, honestly. As a Bears fan, I feel like we lose more, but that's fair.
I think that's split. Like it's like right around 200 wins apiece.
Really?
It's like 200, 200, and like 6.
Then I guess I've been alive for the around 200 times that the Packers win. I guess the Bears might have had it better early on.
That's from when they started playing in like the 40s.
I'm making a joke, Sherman, that the Bears suck dick now. Okay, that's what I'm doing. All right, that's what I'm doing.
True.
Don't be busting my chops right off the top.
Here.
You got a nice shirt on. I wanted to get to that. You got a fresh shirt on.
You know.
I like the shirt. You want to check that out? Check him out, people. What you repping? What is that? What is that?
Your dtalks shirt.
That's
man.
some Rita. That's some brand new fine merch, bro. And I appreciate you. You were one of the first people to cop, as well as we sold out of just about everything, and I appreciate that. Speaking of the fact that we sold out, some of you guys, have your shirts still. They're reserved. You guys reserved them, and I have them. And I have people that want your shirts. So if you have not fucking paid me for your shirt yet, and you have not found a time to come get it, let's work that out this week, or else I got to give it to these other people because it's a business. I got to make money. Now, that being said, fashion along the lines. This is kind of something I just wanted to float out there for the audience. Maybe you know, Sherm. Have you ever heard of the clothing site Shein?
I've heard of it, but I don't
probably get ads every once in a while on Instagram and shit. Yeah, right.
I'm not on social media much, but I know what you're talking about.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a fast fashion, very cheaply made clothes. Not very good for the planet. Very bad, I guess, workers' rights and things like that. But they got cool clothes. I'm not gonna lie. And so I just am curious. I want to float this out to the audience. Someone reach out to me either privately in the comments. Doesn't matter. If you guys know any alternatives to Shein that have like similar style clothing and maybe like a good diverse selection, I guess, that isn't so shitty for the world and for people, because I would like to check it out because I see some dope shit on Sheen and I just refuse to like support the company. But yeah, I would be interested in doing that. And yeah, so like I said, now we got all that little church stuff out the way. Sherm is here. Michael Sherman. Last time you were on the show, had you in as Sherm. That's kind of like an alias you used to go by. I'm still used to calling you that a little bit, but we've grown to know each other a little bit more. You're Michael Sherman to me.
I'm whatever.
Okay.
Like, people from high school call me some variation of my last name.
Your vengeance.
People that know me call me Mike or Michael because they know my name. It's not just they didn't know me while I had the nickname. They know me for me after the fact.
Mm-hmm. But you've been through a lot.
Oh yeah.
From the last time we've had you on the show. I mean, same here. Life has happened a lot, right? To everybody, I'm sure. It's been, like I said, it's been over a year since last time you were on. One of those things that was pretty insane that you had to go through. You got diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
Don't put your head down like that. We were excited to talk about this beforehand. Now you're making me look like the bad guy.
We're good. We're good. It's just like I fucking hate that word.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. So a little bit after my stuff was done and I got into remission, my aunt got diagnosed with terminal cancer. I'm like, I just beat my shit. Now I have to deal with this shit. Yeah. She recently passed like a month or so ago.
I'm sorry for your
loss. I'm just bringing it up because like my shit happened right before that, and it's just like a double whammy at that point.
Yeah, kind of just having to fight that battle twice almost.
Exactly.
But in the case of and again, I am truly sorry for your loss. That is very saddening, and I know a lot of people. I've lost people as well to cancer, and it's not a fun thing, not a pretty thing.
She was actually my godmother. Like she was a cool aunt though. Like,
okay.
I gotta say that. I gotta give her that credit. Like she was fun.
Well, that's good. It's good to give people their flowers, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Now in your case, you went through an interesting thing, especially you're only how old?
21.
21 years old.
I got diagnosed at 20.
At 20. Now, can you give me? You've already told me this story a little bit in private, and I know that's what one of the things you wanted to tell on this show, so people don't think I'm forcing this out of you or something.
No,
right?
No.
You wanted to. So I'm interested, and I know a lot of people would probably be interested in this. At 20 years old, what was going on that led you to even go in and get checked out for something like that?
So I never went in thinking it was cancer whatsoever. I went in thinking I just have a bunch of fucking gut pain.
Was it like weeks, or what was it, like a couple days, or?
Apparently the cancer started forming like, I think they said like 2-3 months before I went into the ER with chest pain.
Okay.
And they said that by the time I went there, it was at stage 3B, which at that point they said it was like 2 to 4 weeks left to live.
Jesus.
At that point.
Yeah.
So
it
was literally a 180-degree flip from deathbed to fucking where I am now.
So what were your? I don't want to skip steps here. So when you were having these pains, was it like? What did it feel like? Was it like comparable to like having like you felt like maybe it was really bad gas or like really bad like heartburn?
It was literally this like a bad upset stomach and just gut pain. Like it didn't feel like anything abnormal. It just was like just gut pain.
Yeah, just like really bad heartburn.
And then they did the scans and they're like, we need to take a closer look at this. And I'm like, huh? What the fuck is going on? Like, come on, what's going on? It can't be anything.
And then you decided to go in, and they diagnosed you with this. When you got the diagnosis, what is going through your head? You know, I mean, as a 20-year-old with getting cancer. I'm not
like most people in this regard. I actually like scared the shit out of doctors. I made those guys stunned as fuck when they told me.
How so?
When they told me, I'm like, I literally looked at them like straight on, like, seriously, like they're like, you just can't make this up. Like I was so straight, so calm, like, really, that's it. Come on, let's get this shit done so I can start my life up again. Come on,
So you were ready to just.
I was like, come on, let's
start.
What are we doing here? Let's get shit started.
So you wanted to know what are the steps.
I didn't stress. I didn't cry. I didn't anything.
Yeah.
Over in the corner, my parents are over there crying. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't look like I'm dying whatsoever. I'm in pain, but I'm not dying. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
I mean,
but
yeah,
you, like you said, you don't think about it like the regular person would.
because it didn't affect me like the normal person, and I'll get into that.
Do you think? I mean, first off, I'm so sad, like sorry that this ever had to happen. I mean, obviously, I'm not the one that
Yeah.
gave it to you or something like that. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but I really admire the fact that like that's something about your personality, Sherm, that you've always had from what I've known of you. Is this optimism.
Yeah.
In a sense, where it's like sometimes you're sarcastic, you say things even right before we went live. You're saying some stuff that pretty downer, and I was calling you out on it, like, bro, that's a little sad. But you have underneath it is this optimism.
Well,
and so even in that moment,
I
you're
say
staying up.
very like dark, sarcastic jokes that like any normal person would be like, "That's fucked up. What's wrong with this guy?"
Mm-hmm.
But I say that shit like, "Hey, it could be better." Like, it's like, "Oh yeah, I had cancer. Like it's just a word. Like it's like there's nothing to it."
I mean, it's a disease.
Yeah,
a tumor.
I mean, it's not
is
the
to
best.
it, but yeah.
That's not the best
Best
example.
I know
there.
what you're saying.
But
yeah.
like, I'll straight up say like, well, I've said this many times. The only way to actually hurt me is to kill me, because I've been through so much pain, both psychologically and physically, that the only way to actually impact me and have a lasting harmful effect on me is to kill me. Dead ass. I went through cancer like it was nothing.
This cancer had no chance. And speaking of that,
I've been on my deathbed multiple times.
Of going
and
through
I
it
haven't
like it was
flinched at
nothing,
all.
not to cut you off.
Yeah.
What is like, so after you've now gotten the diagnosis and everyone's upset, but you're like, no, what are we doing? We got to get this over with. I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
What are the things that what are the like treatment plans that they're laying out? What did you guys end up going with?
So in the hospital, they gave weeks worth of emergency chemo.
What's emergency chemo as opposed to regular chemo?
Like rush, like in the hospital, get this shit now.
Okay.
Instead of normally for chemo, like you go into like clinic and they do stuff like periodically, like you go home and come back type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so bad and sprang so fast, they're like, get this shit now. We were starting your stuff now. So I was in there a week straight getting chemo in the hospital. Before the stuff went down enough for them to release me to go home and do the stuff at the clinic.
Now, for those of us that aren't super aware of how chemotherapy works and everything like that, in your specific case, I know there's different applications of it.
So
how was it done for you?
So for me, I was in the hospital. They ended up, before they started the chemo, they did the surgery and put a port on my connect.
A port?
Yes, it's basically like a little thing to connect to your heart. It's basically a direct access to get stuff in your bloodstream for the chemo. So it basically means the chemo goes where it's going faster and it's more direct and more powerful than normal. Because it's not like you come in your arm and being distributed from there. No, it's going straight to your heart.
And then being dispersed from there.
Yeah, and the heart is the best way to distribute that stuff. But they did that surgery in the hospital. And in the morning when I woke up, they were like, yeah, and now we're going to hook you up for the chemo. We're going to start chemo. I'm like, okay.
And so when
what does this matter? I'm in the hospital. I can't do shit. Like, I can't do shit until you tell me I can do shit. So, I'm stuck here. Just bring it in.
Just do it already. That's what you're
exactly. And
so then now they're in the process of.
Yep. And they started the chemo treatment then.
Okay. And is that through? So that's going in through this plug.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And how long did you do that for?
So I don't remember exactly because I don't know the math of it. I'm too lazy to think about it. But it was 3-week cycles and 4 3-week cycles. So it was like 4 months in the end. But basically the first week they do 3 different types of chemo. First day 3 different types.
Yeah. And
then the next 4 days it was only two of the 3.
Okay.
And then after that, the next week I had on Monday just the 1.
Okay,
and
so
then
they're kind of rotating
after
you that way.
just the 1. And after the next week, so by the end of the 3rd week, I'd start again with all 3 of them.
And so, I mean, was there a point then where, obviously you mentioned that your family was pretty stressed out. The doctors seemed pretty stressed out.
Everyone
about your
was freaking out. I was not.
Where was the turning point for like when it started to look better? Like how much like chemo and treatment of other kinds until it started?
By the time I left the hospital, it was just a major difference.
So you were in the hospital then for
and it changed a lot in the hospital.
Okay, so how long were you in the hospital before you left it all?
It was like 10 days.
10 days. So by the 10th day, you were already looking better.
I was able to jump around, hop on my own.
Okay, and
Before I could barely like move without a bunch of pain.
And the cancer wasn't in remission yet, though, but it was getting there.
No, literally, I was in the hospital. I still had 3 weeks, 3
months, basically.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months worth of chemo left to go at that point.
Okay.
And that's why I literally shocked all the doctors, all the medical staff at both the clinic and the hospital, because they're like, I've never seen someone recover this fast. Like, I've never seen it. Yeah. I've heard stories of people recovering this fast, and they brought up an example of this. I think Olympic swimmer. Wait, no, it was Michael Phelps. He had the same type of cancer, and then
did he?
I think so.
Did he?
You might have to check that.
Okay, we'll check it. Someone will let us know.
But he ended up getting cancer and then recovering it so quickly that it was like it never happened, and that's how it is for me.
Yeah.
But that was a one-time case. That has never happened besides the two of us, from what is known to the doctors.
Well, I do know from what I was looking up before we got into the show today, when I was doing a little bit of research, that it's apparently, and this for all my we have a mostly male audience. I know there are some women that watch the show. Shout out to y'all. But I know there's a lot of young men that watch this show, and it's actually testicular cancer is like most common in men ages 20 to 35.
Also, it's also the most curable. Out of all of them, it's like one of the best
especially
chances.
If you find it early, figure it out. So,
I was late to catch on. I was late for everything.
Did you like? We don't gotta get into that, but
that's the way I am though. It's like I don't stop until I absolutely have to. I did not want to go to the hospital. I wanted to keep working. I didn't want to fucking deal with.
So what did it start off as? Was it just like little, like you would get like little pains?
It was a gut pain, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. But the doctor told me like it started down here and made its way all the way up here. It literally went all the way across my body. Well, I mean, not like legs and shit, but everywhere, upper body. And they were like, "Yeah, dude, this stuff is spreading so rapidly." Like, it's.
So how were they able? So they weren't able to stop the spreading initially because it was already a couple months in, and then how were they?
The first round is what stopped it and started the downward
of it kind of getting into remission.
And then once they saw it starting to go down, like the amount of I think they do like cancer numbers, or like they like draw your blood and then they look at cancer markers in your blood.
The stats were going down.
Once they saw the numbers trending downward, they're like, "You're good to go home. You can just do the shit at the clinic now."
How'd you feel when you heard that the first time?
I'm like, okay, like
you were not. You had to be a little excited. Come on.
I was having fun, dude. I was freaking jacked up on pain meds, dude. Me and the nurses were fucking having a good time, man.
You were vibing.
Vibing. Like I was high as fuck. They were at work, like we were just chit-chatting half the time. Like it was actually fun. Like I was basically dying, but at the same time, I'm like.
But people treated you well there, though, too. They treated you well when you were there. The treatment was good. That's awesome, man. So now when you're finally, you're kind of turning the corner now. You know, you're good enough. They're like, you can go home. Like you're feeling better. You're not having to maybe do as much chemo and stuff like that. What's your perspective on life as a young 20-year-old at the time who's kind of been going through this crazy thing?
Here's the thing about chemo is it's an all-day affair.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up 8-ish in the morning, and then you have to go in and start your chemo shit at like 9, right?
Yeah.
But when you start at 9, the chemo bags take an hour to 2 hours at a time, and they can't do more than one bag at once, usually. So you're there all day, and you're there with a bunch of other people going through the same type of shit. So it's not like you can have a bunch of people because there's just one chair next to you, and you're basically on your own. Yeah. You can bring someone with you, but just one person, because with the COVID shit, and that was a smaller facility.
Yeah,
you're only allowed one. But even though I was only allowed one, I was like, no. I'm good to drive. I'm taking myself. I don't want you guys to be a part of this. Like, I got it.
Are you supposed to drive when you're doing chemo? I don't know.
When I was working at the factory before I went to the ER with this, one of my coworkers was going through chemo, working a second job, and working at the factory with us.
Okay. So you can.
Yeah,
is
it's
doable.
possible.
Okay.
Like I could have worked actually through it, but
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, so I guess, you mentioned before we went live, wanted to talk about like more of the psychological aspects of it and things that you go through. That's where I'm curious, and
Yeah.
I'll ask again. When it comes to like your perspective, like what are your thoughts? What are you thinking towards not just maybe even the cancer, but about life as you're getting through this, as you're beating it and you're realizing, okay, it's in remission. Are you like, this is a second lease on life? Like
It's like it's basically like watching a YouTube video, and then something comes up and you have to hit pause, and then when you hit pause, you have to reopen the link before the video starts working again. Because my life got set on pause. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I was basically better, and after that, I had to start getting on my feet again. I had to find a job. I had to get back on my feet. I had to resume life.
Mm-hmm.
And that psychologically was like, dude, come on. Like, I can't be doing this shit. I'm in my 20s. I should be out living life. I should not be doing this shit.
Was that hard to kind of come to grips with at first?
No, the worst part is that I'm an active guy. You know, I think everyone that knows me, you can't get me to sit down. Like, I'm go, 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 go.
So
I
the
have a
hardest
hard
part
time
was
staying in one
stopping.
place. And yeah, me staying in one place, losing a friend that actually, like, that fucked me up.
Mm-hmm.
Losing a friend that I've cared about a lot. Between that and not being able to move, it's like, I can't do anything about this. No matter what I do, I have to stay here.
Yeah.
I can't talk to her. What the, like, it's just a lot. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah. You just like, I
You
have
just,
to
you
do this
just
thing
watch
right
your
now.
life fall apart right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And, like, that psychologically is the worst. This is where I'm different than most people. And it's the fact that when it comes to the cancer, the most painful thing was the psychological side. I shit you not. All the pains in that shit was not equal to losing a friend. That's the truth.
Losing people close to you, and then not being able to maybe, do the things that make you, you know, like especially like you said, you're an active guy.
Oh yeah.
Getting out and I know, we played soccer together. I know that's a big part of your life. And
like even like all my friends are athletes.
Yeah.
I will admit that. All my friends are athletes. We're all active, we're all fit, and we all challenge each other to be better. And since we're like that, how do I hang out with these guys? Because whenever I hang out with them, it's on the court, on the football field. It's always doing something, right? And it's like,
and right now you can't,
and
while
I
you're in
still
that
can't
moment.
compete with them. I mean, you're talking 2 D1 athletes,
Mhm.
and everyone is there just really athletic, really good. And I'm like, normally I can compete with you guys, but I can't. And
Yeah.
the fact that I can't, when I was really in my fucking prime, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the psychological side. The
Yeah.
pain, not that much. Like I said, I don't know if I said it actually on the air, but the only way for me to actually feel pain is if you kill me.
Yeah.
Like everything else, I can recover from it.
Yeah.
As long as I have a pulse, I will be good.
So, I mean, that's first off, that takes in a tremendous amount of like calloused on the mind to be able to do, which is something you have, right?
oh, yeah.
So, but I want to,
like
how
I
did you
said,
keep your spirits high? How do you, for people that maybe, so people could take something away from this in a positive sense, right? What were the things during this journey, this struggle, this psychological pain that you were going through? What are the things that are keeping your spirits high? What are the things, maybe if it's like media that you're consuming, or if it's people that were still keeping in touch with you, whatever it was, what were the things that were keeping your spirits high?
Not much of anything. I just kind of build my own stuff.
How do you
But
do that?
I'm not like most people. Most people would want their family there for them. I was like, Mom, I don't want you to see me like this. Just, I got it. We're fine.
Why not?
I'm on the upward slope. We're going in the right direction. We're good. I will update you on what's going on, but I don't need you in the doctor's
Why
office
didn't you want her
with me.
there? Why didn't you want her there?
Because I don't want her to see me like that. It's just a psychological thing. Like, I'm going through enough. I don't want you to have to deal with the mindset of seeing your son and like this.
And then that would make you more
And I
upset.
did that with all my family.
Okay. That's interesting, man. You can't be so tough on yourself,
That's how you get better.
For sure, but when it's cancer, man, you gotta cut yourself
Cancer's
some
the
slack,
same
man.
thing as a twisted ankle.
It's-
You gotta get up and keep going.
They don't hold benefits for sprained ankles, man. Come on, I really applaud that you're able to look at this with such a positive perspective and keep that your mind as strong as it is.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want you to understand the severity of what you did, and the fact that you did it, man, and that I'm sure your family was stressed. I'm sure you were stressed.
Yeah.
But you did it, and you're
My family's
here.
still stressed about it. Like my mom is still like, "How are your numbers? How are your numbers?" I'm like, "Mom."
How often? That's what I wanted to ask you. Is how often do you still have to keep?
They have me going back for blood work every 2 months, scans for every 4.
And you've been good since.
After the first year, it's 4 months for the scans and the blood work. After that, it's 6 months, and then for the 6 months for both, and then it's that for I think 2 years or some shit. I don't know. But then it's basically for the next 5 years, have to go back in at least once every 6 months for blood work and a CT scan.
So far everything's looked good though. Since.
Oh yeah, everything's been fine.
That's great. That's awesome to hear.
Everything's been fine.
That's, I mean, honestly, I remember when you first had mentioned something on social media. I reached out to you because I just wanted to make sure you were feeling okay.
Yeah. And that's what good friends do. Like I can't say it's enough. Darren is a really good friend. Like
you don't gotta hype me up on this. We got my name on the show and everything. We don't gotta hype me up any more than we already are. I'm happy you're here, and I'm happy not even that you're just here on the show, but that you are doing well, man. That you've already listened to this for people that are maybe just checking this out, maybe don't really understand the gravity of what we've been talking about.
I don't.
You got diagnosed. You don't. From what it sounds like when I'm talking to you, it doesn't sound like you do.
It's like I got hurt. I got back up. It's just a word. Like
I mean, it's a powerful diagnosis.
It's the same idea, but like it's an injury nonetheless.
Yeah, and the thing is that's so crazy, man, is that you at 20 years old were diagnosed with this disease at it's stage 3, and you recovered quicker than a vast majority of people. And since then, you've gotten back on your feet. Like you said, you had to pause your life. You kind of had to step away from your job. You had to do all these things. And now you're back out there. You're getting active. I see you in the gym. I see you got the new job, and your tests are all coming back good. So like, I'm just happy to see you living.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing: the way you get to the way I am about that is you have to go through pain. You have to go through shit, so that the next time it doesn't hurt half as bad because you've already been through it. I mean, I've almost died multiple times. I've been through a lot of shit, both psychologically and physically. I almost freaking starved out in Alaska.
Starved out in Alaska?
Yes, because we had to go a couple days without food because we were broke. Barely had a shelter sleeping because we were camping, and it was just a fucking mess.
When were you in Alaska?
In 7th grade at the Boy Scouts. That was
the Boy Scouts had you out there with no food?
No. So here's the thing: we were out in the woods, right?
I'm gonna have to slap your counselor, man.
We were out in
the big Boy Scout
there was.
was.
No counselor. There was
Is there like an Eagle Scout or somebody that's got to be watching
you guys?
I was
the one that was damn near an Eagle Scout, which I never really got. I was one fucking thing, one requirement away from that.
What the fuck, man?
But basically we were out in the woods, a good 15 miles from base camp, because it was backcountry, Denali National Park. No one's out there but you. But we were with a group of like 14 total with me and my dad, and we were out there a couple days when we got this big rainstorm. Me and my dad woke up because we had different tents than everyone else. Yeah. We woke up soaking wet, freezing cold. It was like 30 degrees. We were fucking soaking wet in the middle of the fucking woods. Okay. So me and my dad were like, we can't stay out here. All our shit's fucking soaked. We have no fucking way of doing this shit. If we stay out here, we're going to freeze to death. So we had a big meeting between us, and we talked about it, and we're like, your best bet is to go back to base camp and fucking figure it out there and wait for the rest of the group. And that's what we did. But when we left them, they didn't give us a map. They did not give us food either. So when I said I starved,
somebody dropped the ball somewhere.
I went like a good 3-ish days with just a pack of hot dogs between me and my dad. No buns, no nothing, just a pack of hot dogs.
How many wieners in that pack?
Just a normal one.
Like 12? I don't eat hot dogs.
It was
I don't know
from
how
the
many.
Campground store in freaking Alaska.
6, 12, 18. How many wiens in there? 8?
Yeah.
Between two grown men? Yep. Or almost grown men?
For 3 days.
3 days, man.
It was quite a bit.
And you got to eat them cold, too.
No. We're camping. We have ways to make fire. We have all that shit. We're living back country. Like when we went, we were backcountry.
Yeah, that was.
There's no flushing toilets. There's nothing. You fucking dig a hole by a tree and fucking squat.
So you warmed the hot dogs. So that's
Yeah,
good.
we made a fire. You're
Good.
in the woods.
I guess
Of
my
cour-
first thought was having to eat it. I don't know why
No,
I thought that, but
no.
yeah. Good.
But
I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, we
man.
didn't
I'm
have no
fucking
ketchup. We
disgusted
didn't
you
have
did.
no buns or anything, but we did have a way to heat it up.
Okay. How? So I mean, you mentioned that this is one of those moments where you're going through, some sort of.
But that was
trial
that was in
that-
7th grade, and that's just the beginning of the story.
So, but okay, so we don't got to get into the whole thing, but I am curious as to like, what are you taking away from a moment like that when you go through something as, I mean, that's probably somewhat, as only a 7th grader, a little bit traumatizing, a little bit fucked up.
But
How do you?
I'm gonna finish this story. I'm gonna finish off the trip. 'Cause
Okay.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Making it out of the woods alive was the tip of the iceberg. Because after that, we rented a tent we walked to town, which is another 5-6 miles from Denali National Park. Rented a tent, came back, and stayed there a couple of days. And then we're like, we're out of fucking money. Either we go back take a bus back to Anchorage and stay at the hostel where we're supposed to stay at. More about that later. And either we go back there or we fucking just try and make here, because we were paying for a campsite as well. We
Mhm.
didn't have to initially because we were with the group in
Yeah.
the back country, and then you're on your.
So did you guys just like decide not to be a part of this group anymore at all?
We,
and there was
we had
no
to split up.
communication.
We had to split up. We didn't have any gear. Like our clothes were soaked. We had nothing left. That wasn't any good. And it's like
They weren't like, hey, we'll reconvene. We'll figure this out
there's
together.
no way to. There's no way
They
to.
were just like everyone for themselves.
Kind of, but the situation is there's no other way to do it.
Okay.
Either we break off or everyone else goes through shit just to help us. So our best bet was to break off.
That sounds like the Boy Scout thing to do would be to go through a little bit extra shit so your fellow
Yeah.
Boy Scouts can like
Well, yeah.
not have to eat 8 wieners for 3 days. Like that's.
We pre-made food. We had pre-made food good to go.
So
but
you had
they-
pre-made food and wieners, so you didn't starve to
But it
death.
wasn't pre-made. It was like dehydrated, just fucking like. It was like fucking
So this was maybe
MRE type shit.
So, okay, so this maybe wasn't
Homemade MREs.
okay. So okay,
It wasn't
I think
like
I have a
actual
better
food.
idea of what
It wasn't
what
like
happened
actual
now.
food. No, we basically stayed there for breakfast and we were out. They went that direction. We went the other one.
Okay, so
But like I said, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because after we left the campground to bus back to Anchorage,
yeah,
we had to hike all over fucking Anchorage, like the city of Anchorage. There's this one younger couple who ended up seeing us like, what are these guys doing? They look lost as fuck. Full fucking like the backcountry backpacks, how they like are basically the length of your fucking
Yeah.
body.
you guys are walking
We
around
had
with those
one
guys.
of those walking down the streets of the city. This nice couple, I can't thank them enough for this shit. I don't even know if they'll ever see this, but I can't thank them enough for it. But
Mhm.
they end up, we're like, hey, where are you guys going? And I'm like, we're going to this hostel. We don't know where the fuck it's at. So they end up picking us up in the back of their car and bringing us to the hostel. And that was nice. But then once we got to the hostel, me and my dad were there a couple, like I think it was like 6 days or some shit before the rest of the group came. It may have been like 8 days. I don't
What was
even
the
know.
rest of the group doing?
They were doing community service work. They were going to at this bridge that broke, and they're like they had to do stuff to.
So
do
they
the-
would fix the
so
bridge that broke.
No,
but
they had to
wouldn't-
figure out if it was a historical site or not, because it's on not national property.
Mhm.
That'd be like, is this considered a historical site? If not, move the shit out of there.
Okay.
Clean up the mess from the
And
bridge.
so then you guys are spending 6 days at this hostel, and then
Well, they were out there
Well, they
because
were
that
out
was
there.
the second week of the trip. Well, no, yeah, because it was like halfway through the second
things
week. We were
happen.
supposed to go back to
Alaska's
Anchorage.
very cold,
Yeah,
but you survive.
But yes, but then
ultimately.
we got to the hostel. Me and my dad were
Okay.
staying there, right? And then this is really messed up. But me and my dad were leaving the hostel to go explore Anchorage, and then there's this gang shit right in front of the hostel. I ended up having to do life-saving first aid. 7th grade, saving this dude life.
Well, what kind of was he shot
He
or?
got stabbed.
Oh, okay.
He got stabbed. We were literally walking on and saw that. I'm like, what the fuck?
That could be pretty traumatic.
And my dad wasn't too into the scout shit.
You had a med kit
He-
though, ready to go.
No.
Oh.
No. My dad doesn't know how to do
Bandages.
the fucking shit like that. He doesn't know the first aid shit. I at the time basically just got my first A in life saving merit badge, so like it worked out.
You had just gotten the badge, and you're seventh
I
grade.
got
so what, how
I got
old?
it at summer camp the summer before, so it was like a year. But a year in scout terms is like fresh, because
You know
most
what-
of the stuff I learned in scouts I learned in fucking like seventh. No, like I don't
Well,
know.
most seventh graders, if
Most
they
of-
saw somebody get stabbed, would probably.
I was 14 years old at the trip. 14.
So you're a freshman in high school.
No, I was in 7th grade. I was one of the oldest in the grade, though.
How?
It was the summer going into 8th grade. I call it 7th grade because it was earlier in the summer.
Okay, I'm gonna ignore that age because that is definitely not how old you are in seventh grade. But okay, we'll
But,
keep going.
okay,
I'll give you that. Let's go.
The rule is you have to be 14 to go because it's not like a normal Boy Scout trip. It's
Well, it seems
I've-
life or
I've-
death. Yeah.
you have to be experienced. You have to know what you're doing. It's not like you can bring someone that doesn't know how to do this backcountry shit, not experienced enough in the woods to do shit. So
Mhm.
they take the more experienced older guys. Because in scouts, once you turn 18, they kick you out. You're too old.
So how
You
did it?
either have to become a leader in some way, or you're out.
So how did you feel after seeing that at such a young age?
That fucked me up.
I can imagine.
And that was then.
Yeah.
That was before the shit that happened in high school.
Yeah. And then you went through all that, but I don't want to rehash all that. We already talked. We're not going to get
I
into
know,
the negative
but
stuff. We're not going to get into
I
the
know,
negative
but
stuff.
that's what I'm saying is like that messed me up before high school. Stuff in high school messed me up now. So it's like
But like you said, going through these tougher times, these
have
not so
only
great
made me
things,
stronger.
sharpened the
Like,
tool,
like I
right?
said,
Yeah.
you have to go through shit so that the next shit you hit is not as bad.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think maybe you need to
So,
give some of this advice to our
I
guy.
told you and McKenna this earlier. When I was going through surgery for them to take out the port,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the doctor like, "Is that all you got? Like, I don't feel this." Like, she squirted me once with the numbing spray. I didn't let her spray me more, of course.
You
Like,
wanted to.
it's like, bring it on. Come on, let's see what you got.
That seems a little
And he was like,
ridiculous.
"Are you serious? Like, you're taunting me to hurt you more as your fucking heart's open?" I'm like, why the fuck not?
I hope as a professional he was like, "Shut the fuck up, kid. I'm gonna just
he
do
was,
my job."
but at the
Okay,
same time,
good.
he's like, I've never seen someone like this. Like, what the fuck?
One of a kind. One of a kind. But
He's-
that's like you said. And this one because we're gonna segue here. But I think it's incredible the shit that you've gone through, and especially saying what you said. Sometimes you have to go through this tough ass
Yeah.
shit to build you into a new person.
Yeah.
I think our guy that we're gonna be talking about right
Yeah.
here after this maybe needs some of that advice. Our boy Will Smith, which you may or may not have heard about what
I
happened.
heard about it.
Did you
Did
see
not,
the?
I downloaded the clip off of iFunny.
Mhm.
I literally saw it. I'm like, this looks like good enough stuff to repost on Snapchat.
Hmm.
I didn't really look at it. I looked at the first 10 seconds, looked at the little comment above it. I'm like, this looks useful.
Yeah, so things got a little crazy. What we're going to do now is I'm going to pull it up. McKenna's going to pull it up for us. So we're going to look at it. We're going to check it out for people that haven't yet seen it. Basically, the Oscars were last night.
Yeah,
Nobody knew
I
until
ended
this
up
thing happened. I had no idea. Yeah, so this thing that happened was Chris Rock was presenting an award. So he's, cracking some jokes at the expense of people sitting in the front row. And
That's me at my funeral.
you at your funeral how are you gonna be cracking the jokes at your funeral? You gonna have them pre-written?
No,
Chilling on the casket?
That's a joke.
It's a
That's
bad
a-
joke.
That's me.
You're
That's me. I've been through shit. This dark comedy is who I am.
okay. Well, we're gonna. Did we get it? Did we get another jackhammer? Okay, these guys. We got Dylan. We got some people in the comments. Joey, Dylan, Jordan, Mars. Okay, what's up, guys? How are you guys? So, getting to the Will Smith stuff, right? Will Smith is up for an award. Not this award, but Chris Rock is presenting an award for like best documentary or something like that. He's cracking some jokes at the expense of people in the front row, as often happens at award shows, and Will Smith and his wife Jada Pinkett Smith end up receiving a couple of these. Chris makes a joke specifically about Jada. It appears that Will's laughing. Cuts back to Chris. He looks concerned, and all of a sudden we see Will walk up, gives him a nice little slap right across the face, walks back. Pretty ridiculous moment, insanely viral. We're gonna check it out, and I know a lot of people have opinions. I actually asked our audience across all of my social media for their opinions.
I saw your Snapchat post.
Yeah, and a lot of people sent some very colorful opinions. So we're going to react to some of those too. But first, for people that maybe don't know, if you don't know, I don't know where you've been, but we're going to play it for you guys and check it out over here. Let me know when you got it all ready to go, McKenna. Yeah, okay, yeah, you want to, yeah, if you want to flip it so I can just see what's going on. And then, yeah. Okay, so this is...
He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord.
You want to just pause it here?
Jada?
Yeah, there you go. Just rewind it a sec. Should be good now. Yeah, give it a go.
Lord.
Yeah.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
You did not like that.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Yeah, you don't have to. I don't know why it's lagging like that.
Yo, that reminds me of the thing I was
I'll have
telling you
to
about
flip
earlier.
around.
That wasn't that didn't look like he actually was trying to hurt him. That was like, hey, watch your fucking mouth. Like, come on, know your ground.
Your
Like,
team
know
will.
your place. Know your place.
Okay, so I'm really sad that that clip doesn't want to work correctly, or else I would have it. I'd like to play the full clip out. There's a line right afterwards where Will is explaining to Chris to keep his wife's name out of his fucking mouth, basically, right?
Yeah, I end up seeing that in the iFunny comment section. of
People,
all
yeah,
places.
and people have a lot of opinions, and maybe we'll get that pulled up eventually here correctly. But I want to get through to some people's opinions, and to those watching right now, if you're in the live chat, are you Team Will, or are you Team Chris? And maybe give me why, and discuss amongst yourself. I'll read a couple of the comments in a minute, but we got to get to some of what people sent me. So I had quite a few people respond, and we're gonna be responding to these back and forth. So I've got, and this was quite often. I won't be able to get to all of these, but Chris, someone says Chris because he's a comedian. He was making funny jokes, and that's something that I gotta say. Like before I get to all the rest of these opinions, it is. I've seen a lot of people equate this to. That's what you have to do. You're supposed to stick up for your girl, whatever. If someone disrespects your girl, that's what you need to do. But what I would like to push back on is that this is not whatever fucking bar, like tavern that you're chilling at where some random guy starts.
This is national television.
Well, it's different if me and you were, if I'm at a bar with McKenna and somebody that knows her or doesn't know her, whatever, starts disrespecting the fuck out of her, talking out of pocket. We don't know them. They're not a comedian. They're not being paid, whatever. First, I'm not gonna start an altercation because I'm not a dipshit, but they would be warranted. But it would be warranted in a situation like that. This is a guy who is, in my opinion, and we'll get to all your guys' opinions in a second. This is a guy who is being paid to be there. He is literally a professional comedian.
Doesn't he have a script as well?
Well, I believe.
Shouldn't he have like a script or something like? Follow this.
It's a teleprompter. Yeah. He has jokes. These jokes are pre-written. They're ready to go.
That's what I'm saying. Don't you think someone would have looked over them?
They
or
did.
At
I
least
believe.
Made sure that he didn't do that.
Oh, I believe they did look over them. And so I don't
hope so. Otherwise, someone should be fired.
And I think I think they should be promoted if they did, because it's the Oscar. People care about the Oscars now, and they didn't 2 days ago.
That's what I'm saying. Is like we should give our how we feel about it first before we answer those. But like, here's how I feel about it. Like, yeah, he's like me and making a joke, but he's also, and then Smith is also protecting his wife. At the same time, it's like I see both sides of the situation here. Like,
you're a centrist.
He's doing his job.
Okay.
He's making a good joke. He's protecting his wife. Neither one's really at fault. They both have a good motive or a good reason for what they're doing. It's like no one's more at fault than the other. They both made a mistake on national television, but neither one of them outdid the other.
Here's what I'll say.
They're on the same level with that.
I don't think it's to say that they're on the same level. I think would be sort of rewriting.
They're just as at fault. Like,
I don't think they're just that. I think
equally.
you could make an argument that maybe they both share some blame, but I don't think that Chris is nearly as in the wrong as Will is in this case, in my opinion. And that's the thing too. Some people were sending me messages about this. Were very passionate one way or the other. I don't really care that much. This is fun. This is entertainment. This is hilarious.
I'm the same way. I don't care anything about the mass media. Bunch of like this happens, it's like someone got punched on national television.
Yeah, but it is funny. And the reason I agree, I think that Chris, in my opinion, is not really doing anything incorrect, is because I've had people bring up, well, she has alopecia, like she's losing her, like that's a disease and all these things. One, he may or may not have known, and that doesn't make it okay. Doesn't make it. It's just the thing is like you cannot expect people to know everything about you if they're making a joke. Secondly, he is on stage being paid to make a joke at your expense. So we're you're a public figure,
You're
expected
sitting in the front row at an event like that. You have to expect something.
Kind of expected to take that on the chin, in my opinion. But I do understand, and I know people that have maybe that disease. I know they were very much like, this is ridiculous. This is bullshit. Blah 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 blah. Now I've some other people's opinions. We've got some people on Instagram saying, who cares? It's all publicity. Someone else says, Team Will, why can't we just be happy that something entertaining happened? I agree with that.
Oh my God.
At least something fun happened. If that's why your Team Will, I guess. If it were Ryan Reynolds defending Blake Lively, everyone would praise him.
Ryan Reynolds defending anyone.
I disagree with that. I think anybody getting on stage and slapping somebody else at a joke is a little silly. You got to be able to, in my opinion,
but
take
we're
that
also
joke.
talking about Will Smith versus Chris Rock. Will Smith is a lot stronger than Chris Rock.
You think so?
At least in a fight, I put my money on Will Smith.
Yeah, in a boxing match, I think.
But that's what I'm saying is like Will Smith can punch harder than Chris Rock. He wasn't trying to hurt him. He was trying to say, know your damn place. Watch your fucking mouth.
But I don't think he has the right to do that. Is what I'm getting
There's
to.
no intent to harm. Just like what I did in high school. There's no intent to harm. It was basically just like, hey, watch what you're doing. Like, don't. Come on.
But I just think being a bigger person means you don't have to get physical with somebody. If somebody doesn't know their place, like if you're saying like they're just not getting it, then I just don't associate with them.
Yeah,
right?
if
So
it
it's
was
like,
me, I would have just took what he said, kept it in the back of my mind, talked to him after the show, after everything's all said and done, and be like, hey, come on, man.
And so Arsenio Hall has this quote that is, everybody will forget a bad joke. Everyone forgets a bad joke, but nobody will forget a bad attitude. So it's like, if you really thought the joke was that bad or that out of line or that out of pocket, I am sort of on the side of that, where had you not reacted like that, I probably wouldn't even know what joke it was because no one would have gave a fuck. People would have been mad about something else.
We wouldn't be talking about it now, would we?
Exactly. So I want to get to a couple more of these. Team Chris, end of the day, all jokes. If everybody reacted like that, we wouldn't have stand-up. That's very true because most jokes are at somebody's
comedy
expense.
Comedy has hit a point to where everyone complains at a joke. I'm like, how is a joke funny if it's not making fun of something? Like,
true. I mean, I to somewhat agree with what you just said there. We've got, I think it was deserved, but not on stage. That's similar to what you were saying. We've got here says, this is a 3-parter. It wasn't the first time Chris made a joke about Jada back in 2016. I did read this somewhere else. Chris made fun of Jada. He made fun of her for boycotting the Oscars due to a lack of people of color. And it was also just a low blow. Joke about something she did do to a condition. Oh, she didn't do or a condition. It was a corny and he had it coming. See, that's what I'm saying. Some people very much think he deserved. I don't think physical violence is ever necessarily.
Yeah, like
there are very few times. I'm not going to sit there and be like, and say that and then something happened later down the line where I feel like that I get that worked up. But I feel like most of the time, especially in the case of a joke. Yeah. If somebody says something, even if it's a really mean joke, the worst thing that you can do is escalate that with violence.
Well, that's the thing is like that's like someone making a cancer joke with me. Mm-hmm. Like they just no, that's you don't joke about that sort of thing. Like that joke crossed the line. Chris Rock is in the wrong for that. Will Smith is in the wrong. But you're not going to
hit him upside the head with a bat.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Wait, like he's in the wrong for hitting him. He could have discussed it after the fact. No one would have known about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, it just would have flowed over like nothing. Like, Chris Rock is just fine. He made a joke. He crossed the line. He's at fault for that.
Well, and the thing that
And then Will Smith is at fault for throwing the punch. But that's what I'm saying. They're both at fault.
We can't use the punch, but yeah,
but they're both at fault is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You can't really say they're more than the other because, like, the joke is equal to the slap. Like it's the same sort of thing. It's the same degree.
I think that the joke is a lot less, a lot more professional than the slapping
but
in
that's
front
what
of
I'm
everybody
saying.
at the
It's
Oscars.
like, that's what I'm
So I don't
saying.
think they're
It's like-
equal, but I get what you're saying.
but,
That there's
like,
a little bit of wrong in both of
he
them.
was wrong for saying it. He was wrong for hitting him about
Do we
it.
know if he even knew? Because that's the thing too, where it's like I have mental health issues,
Yeah.
right? If somebody made some sort of joke about my mood or
Yeah.
something like that, and they don't know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and be mad at them because how are they supposed to know what I have?
It's,
I don't know
it's
if,
Hollywood, man.
but-
Everyone should know everyone
but
out there.
that's
on the
not that's
hills.
not true because everyone has their own world and their own problems they're going through. So I don't know that he knows. If he did know, then I do think that would kind of adhere to that
Yeah.
argument that you're making, that a lot of other people that sent me
Yeah.
messages were making. But if he didn't know, then what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't know somebody has that, and he's just making a comparison that she
Yeah.
looks like this other character, whatever. I don't think it was that deep, and I think maybe she took it in that way. And there's been a lot of great memes
Yeah.
about this that are
yeah.
fantastic. But we've got another one that says Team Oscars. Not saying it was staged, but the Oscars yearly views were going down, and this helped them out. I agree with that, and a lot of people.
I saw the difference in the numbers. I'm like,
A lot
this
of
is
people.
bad publicity for Will Smith, but overall, I think it helps them all.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like Will Smith's name is back in the media. It gives him a good chance to get in their whole movie because people are talking about him again.
I mean, it's
Chris
not
Rock,
like it's not
same
like people
thing.
weren't talking about it. He's up for a fucking Oscar.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like
He
things-
won an Oscar later, 20 minutes later.
that's what I'm saying. Things like this help them get new roles and new stuff because people want to see more of him.
I don't know about
from
new
stuff
roles,
like
but I do
this.
think yes, publicity. I'm sure he'll sell some more of his book and stuff like that. Now we've got some other messages from people. Someone says can't really say till you walk in Will Smith's shoes, and is this even worthy of a conversation? This is a comedy podcast, topical, guest driven. So yes, it's worthy of We've talked about a lot dumber. So yes, this is definitely worthy of conversation. And I don't think I will say this. I heard Charlamagne the God say something like this. There is probably some shit going on with Will and Jada, or whatever, or not even maybe with both of them, just in Will behind the scenes. Because there's no way that joke would set you off unless there was some other.
I
turmoil.
heard a rumor that Chris Rock slept with Jada as well.
I don't think
I don't
that
know
happened.
about that, but I heard it and I funny. I don't know if it's true, but I saw it on there, and
I gotta
just
say,
gonna
dude,
say,
you're the only person
I'm
I
gonna
know
bring
that
that
still
in.
uses iFunny. Respectfully, I mean that respectfully. I don't know anybody, but
That's because the app went from clean to dark to darker to what the hell is going on.
maybe that's why you should get off, man. You gotta take a break.
It's
from that.
addicting. Like
Yeah.
once you get into it, it's like I can't get over
We've
these
got-
fucking jokes, dude.
We've got another one. Team Chris, gotta learn to take a joke, especially. Can I read this whole? It won't let me read this whole thing. Okay, here we go. Team Chris, gotta learn to take a joke, especially if it's coming from a comedian in all caps,
Yeah.
and also fuck Jada. Okay, that's not my words, Jada, but yeah, I mean, she is embarrassed. Like she has gone like over the last 2 years. It has been kind of sad as a
Yeah.
fan of Will
Yeah.
Smith, because I do think he's very talented in so many
think
different
about
aspects.
their kids as well. Like those two are starting to kind of like
Well, they're super
fade.
talented too, but
But-
but the thing is, they also like I do think like Jada has in a lot of ways found a way to make
Yeah.
Will at least look
Mhm.
really bad, and
Yeah.
and this doesn't help because it was and then we've got I don't know, just the fact that he was laughing at the joke, then you can see she's upset, then it cuts away, and then all of a sudden he's upset. I don't know if he was uneasy like laughing, like maybe he felt awkward
something
laugh.
just popped into my head.
What's that?
Is you remember I was talking about like Jada not liking Will Smith and like their relationship kind of being 50-50?
Mm-hmm.
I think that may have been why Will did it though too, because he wants them to know, hey, I still love her. I'm going to stand up for her.
Mm.
That just crossed my mind as a possibility. Like that could have been why he did it, is to make the people realize that hey, she is still my wife. I'm still gonna stand up for her.
I just got sent the rumor that you brought up about Chris and Jada. There is apparently people reporting on that, so that may be more than just a rumor. Interesting take. We've got a couple other people that say Will, Team Will, not a whole no explanation, just Team Will. Someone says I feel like both of them are in the wrong, but two wrongs don't make a right, and there's always consequences. Then we've got another Chris. Everybody gets roasted at award shows. why does the Smith family think they're above it? And yeah, I kind of agree with that a little bit. Other people said that, let's see, we've got one more I'll read here. Chris, simply unclassy. Will, unclassy on Will's part. It was a joke. Now jokers are going to have a tee off on stand-up watch. Yeah, I bet Chris Rock's next stand-up's about to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
After this, like straight up, there's no way. Now I probably missed some of the live chat, guys. I was reading other stuff. Let's see where we're at. Nothing's off limits for me, says Jordan. Way to bring race into it. What do we got in here? What are the Dustin these balls? Who's Dustin? Okay, a lot of random shit. Will didn't do anything to the dudes who banged his wife, but slaps the guy for making a joke. Yeah, dude, I've seen some fucked up fucking me. I screenshotted a couple of them, dude, where I couldn't not. I saw this. There's one of let me pull this up real quick. What were you gonna say, Sherman?
iFunny featured right now is full of memes.
No
of
more.
this
You're
stuff.
not allowed to quote iFunny again. Okay, you're not allowed to say anything from iFunny. I said. So this is when I saw a comment someone made. The Smiths' marriage is open to everything except jokes. That's tough. Another one here is, imagine if Chris Rock would have responded with, "Damn, I'll be feeling that slap till August." That would have been. That's tough. That's tough, man. There's some good stuff. I mean, I feel really bad because I do feel like something is going on, and he's having he had somewhat of an episode.
There's something behind all of them. Like they all have something going on.
But Chris Rock now is a GOAT.
Yeah.
For the fact that he took that, I'm sad. I'm sorry we couldn't play the full clip because whatever, computer's bugging right now. But the way he responded, the way he handled the moment, he literally leans in because he thinks Will's about to give a joke to him, say something, like a little clap back, I get it, you want to come up and say something, don't talk about my wife, whatever, make a joke at Chris's expense. So he leans in and gets the shit slapped out of him, and he called it. He said, this is the greatest night on television of all time, whatever he said, and he mumbled one word, but then he just got right back to doing the show. Didn't break him. That's how you know he's being a real dude, and
he's dedicated.
He's a professional, man.
Exactly.
And that's where it bothers me even more is this dude was doing his fucking job at the highest level, and made a joke that maybe you don't agree with.
Think about it. Imagine me, you, or anyone that watches this podcast trying to maintain composure in that situation. That takes a lot of mental practice, and it's not easy.
Yeah, I saw someone say
my first varsity start, I was tweaking the fuck out. I couldn't concentrate for shit.
This is a few levels above that, but yeah,
exactly what I'm saying. That was varsity soccer.
Yeah.
This wasn't national fucking television.
This is international television.
Well, exactly.
Zenday's there, bro. You're gonna let someone slap you in front of Zendaya?
It started on TV. The internet ate it up, bro.
Zoe Kravitz was there. You gonna let someone slap you in front of her?
Wait. Is that Lenny
that's
Kravitz?
I don't know.
Kid or something?
Is it? Is it? Oh shit! I didn't know that. She's Catwoman in the new Batman movie.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really pay attention. That's right.
But yeah, I'm not getting.
I just know the names. That's about it. Names and a couple of.
Saw
faces.
a similar. Joey says saw a similar one that says. Similar one was if you're this mad in March, can't imagine how you feel in August. Fuck, dude. Yeah, I saw one that was what the fuck did it say?
These are some good March Madness jokes, though.
Someone said one that was if imagine Will did this when someone made a joke about his wife. Imagine what he would do if someone slept with his wife. And I was and it was with this weird sound on TikTok, and it just was really, really funny and ironic. I feel bad for Will Smith in a way. I mean, here's the thing: I feel terrible for Chris Rock, and he is goated for this all time, but I do still feel bad for Will in the sense that I definitely feel there's some shit going on that he just doesn't. And I know people are gonna be. I had a lot of people express their opinions that were pro Will, and I got to some of those. I know I didn't get to all of them, but I respect those opinions too, guys. And just know this is just funny to me. This isn't. I'm not gonna die on this hill. I don't really care that much. But I would say I think the comedian being a comedian is okay.
Yeah. He's more in the right than Will. Yeah. But they're both at fault to a degree. Sure.
Yes. I'll take that. We've got I wanted to read one or two more, unless you've got anyone else has some good other jokes there in the comments. Someone says Chris all the way. What if he didn't know about her? Okay, so this is very similar to mine. What if he didn't know about her alopecia? Even if he did know, All it is a really poor joke. No need for violence ever. Chris shouldn't have decided not to press charges against him. I'm glad he didn't press charges against him though, because now
That's more professional of him not to.
well, here's the thing. I think had it gone any further than a slap,
Oh yeah.
I think maybe pressing charges. I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying I could see why someone would. And I could still see why if he wanted to on the slap. But I think like it sets a better precedent where like him and Will can patch this up. Like it doesn't have to be something like him and Will could talk about whatever the fuck went on.
They probably did this right after the show.
I mean, I don't know. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Think about it. If me and you were on that level, like not like
I will be on that level.
Let's say I was Will and you were Chris. I would go.
Why are you slapping the fuck out of me, bro? Why do I gotta take the slap?
I don't know. It just you're the more professional one here, Mr. Running a podcast.
Okay.
But
here, let's practice. Give me one. No, just kidding.
But like I would like if it was me, if I was Will Smith and I heard that, I would be like, okay, that's kind of messed up. I would wait to take it up with you until after the show. But if I was to bring it up, I would say something, like go up to him and say something.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't make it anything physical. I would not escalate the situation.
Yeah.
I would make it my feelings known, but I would not start any sort of fight or anything.
That's exactly what I see. I respect the fuck out. That's exactly what I was saying to somebody. I'm like, if the joke was that bad, and maybe Chris didn't know, or even if Chris did know, and it was that bad, and there is this history of this alleged affair that people are rumoring about, I just think you press him. Yeah. You just go up to him after the show. You're like, hey man, that wasn't cool. Yeah. And I bet that's enough to like patch whatever without getting violent. Now we got some comments here that says, my girlfriend loves Zoe Kravitz more than she loves me. Dylan says that. We've got Chris didn't press charges. Would you have? Yeah, I don't think I would have. Just because I would rather, especially as two people that are like super talented. I mean, they both. That's the thing.
They're
with Will
both
too.
Actors to a point.
And Will is like a comedian too. He's done comedian. I mean, he's not like a stand-up comedian, but he does. I mean, he's in a hella comedy movies, making fun of people.
That's what I'm saying. In his movies, he's a comedian.
So that's where it's like I don't understand where he even. That's where I know like something had to be going on, and so I'm glad that Chris didn't, in the sense that like they can work out. He would
have only
whatever.
Escalated the situation more by doing so.
And I wouldn't want to press charges because I just don't think that would.
No.
I don't think that would be fun for anybody. And it was a slap.
But like I said, that would only escalate the situation more. Yeah. Like now, it's just a slap, no big deal. It's just a slap. If you have pressed charges, it will have brought in the law, and it will have been more to it.
What's a bigger moment?
What?
This, or the Kanye Taylor Swift? Kanye taking the mic from Taylor Swift.
I have no idea what you're talking about there.
Yes, you do, bro.
No, I actually don't.
Kanye going up on stage in the middle. Taylor won
what?
She won the award for best music video. And he goes, Taylor, I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to say, Beyonce, she had the best video of the year, greatest video of all time, one of the greatest videos of all time.
I have no idea what you're talking about, like dead ass.
Taylor Swift's like 16 or something.
I know who Taylor Swift is. I don't know about the moment you're telling me about. I've never seen anything on that. I've never.
I would pull it up.
I've never watched the Emmys. I've never watched the Oscars.
No one does
any of that.
Okay, no one does. It's just now because someone got slapped that we care.
But even still, I've never cared to look at it online or anything. It's like actors being actors. It's like the NFL award ceremonies. Like
those are more fun.
I really
usually.
don't care. I'm just gonna see who wins the shit afterwards. Like just out of curiosity.
Could you imagine?
But I've never been into it.
I don't know if
I really cared.
Well, I don't know if my NBA fan Dylan says all the diseases to joke about, alopecia is pretty tame LMAO. Yeah, I agree too, because especially I think she's like on record of saying that it doesn't bother her and that she's come to grips with it, and maybe it did bother her at one time, but she chooses to wear her hair the way she does because she's proud of it, whatever, and all this stuff. So I mean, I'm not gonna go into that. I can't tell her how to feel about things, whatever. But imagine if this shit would have happened. I don't know if my NBA fans remember when the NBA awards started, like back. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't even know if they still do it. And Drake hosted it. And he went in on everybody, dude. Well, and it was hilarious.
Drake. You remember what he did in Milwaukee?
But what if someone would have went up and punched Drake, dude? That would have been fucking. I mean,
that would have been legendary. If I was in that game and I saw Drake running around in the court like that, clocked his ass.
No, you would not have. You're talking about a game, a Milwaukee game. I'm talking about
that's unprofessional as fuck. You're not a player. You're not a coach. Why are you? I'm talking 5 feet onto the hardwood.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the game in Milwaukee.
He ruined the freaking competitiveness of that series by going onto the court and talking to the ref. He had no right to be there. as a Wisconsin
He's
citizen,
a sixth god, bro.
as
He's a sixth god, bro. He can do what he wants.
it was in Milwaukee. If they were in Toronto, Toronto would deal
I
with
was
it.
talking about.
But if he does that shit in Toronto, it's Toronto.
Okay, we're not talking. I'm
But-
not talking
but
about the game.
you
I'm talking
don't-
about the NBA award show
but
that
you-
Drake hosted, not the fucking
but that's
game
what-
that he was at. I'm talking about the thing that he hosted that is the same thing as this thing that Chris Rock did, where Drake is there to make jokes on everybody, and he did that. There's the ESPYs or something.
I know.
It was a while back,
I know,
right?
I'm just giving you shit.
Yes, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we understood the same thing.
I am the king of shit talk, guys.
I only watch the
I am
WNBA.
a sarcastic king.
Joey says the Kanye thing was worse. I'm not really sure, guys. It could go either way for me. But Sherm, we're over the hour mark, man. Do you have any questions for me before we end up wrapping the show? Any last thoughts, questions, anything?
I don't think there's anything for on the air. I mean, we're gonna
That's
always
pretty
talk and hang
sus.
out after, but like,
Okay.
like
Making
we
me
talked
nervous.
about everything that people want to know. Like, unless you have any questions for me or the people have any questions for me, I'm good.
Okay, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this, dog. I appreciate you coming back on and talking about some pretty vulnerable things, especially with, your journey through being diagnosed
Yeah.
with cancer and getting past that, and just everything you got going on now.
I'm
You got your
just gonna
job.
bring
And,
this up one last time. Losing that friend broke me fucking so much.
Mhm.
Like, I can't stress enough. That was the fucking thing that brought it over the top.
Sometimes, like you
Like-
said, though, you got to go through something like that. Now the right friends are going to enter
Yeah,
your life.
But
that's what
but
matters.
that's what I'm saying is, like, the cancer isn't that bad if you're mentally prepared for it, and you can tune out the fact that you're like hooked up to the chemo bags and stuff, and just be like, oh, I'm just sitting here in this fucking lounge chair chilling, talking to people. You're fine. But it's the psychological side. That's the make or break for almost everything.
Mhm.
Either you're going in with a winning attitude and you have like the mindset like, I'm gonna do this, I got this, like, we're good. It's your own psychological side that ends up doing you over.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, I think for most people, the physical hurts them as well. But in your case, yes, I get what
The
you're
physical
saying.
was hurting me.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as the psychological.
psychological side is the side that actually hurt me.
Okay.
I felt the pain. The pain psychologically is what hurt.
That's fair. Well,
I tuned out the physical pain. The psychological pain, that was there. It will always stay there.
I get that. Well, I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable with us, Sherman, and sharing your stuff, especially giving your thoughts on the Will and Chris situation. Appreciate everybody that jumped in live and said what's up. I love all you guys. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Also want to say shout out to our patrons for supporting the channel. If you guys are interested in getting access to behind the scenes content, extra podcasts, a whole series on how I break down how I mix and master every single one of my songs, as well as behind the scenes for music videos and how we do all that stuff, go to Darren Rita, or go to patreon.com/Darren Rita, and you can help support the channel for as little as $1. Aside from that, you can check out the links down in the description. Got music, got socials, got all that good stuff down there. Shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. And this has been the 143rd episode of the dtalks podcast. I will see you